r/relationships. Throw on me no Kato says. I'm 25 female and my boyfriend is 30 meters. I brought up the topic of my future goals/dreams, such as marriage. I'm not saying I want that right now. But in the future I want to be proposed to and have a wedding. His response. He wants a house and kids first. Then get married, but without the legalities. Question mark? Had this convo in person the night before. He said, "Are you proposing to me RN?" Laughed and kissed me and has joked about marriage before. I didn't want to take anything he said out of context, so I used the texts, but he blew me off that night and changed the subject. Backstory: when we first met 2 years ago, I was in a phase in my life where I still didn't want a boyfriend or to get close to someone because of a past relationship. Plus I just wasn't ready to trust again, since I had been cheated on and lied to. Also he hasn't had a girlfriend in years and the last one was really mean and controlling and they dated for like 5 or so years and it was apparently really awful. We spent years seeing each other as FWB. He asked me out twice, but I refused because I felt like within a year's time I would probably become annoyed as usual. But it never happened and I enjoyed being around him. So I asked him out. We've had fights and issues of course, but we have worked through them. I'm an anxious person and he can be pretty avoidant and not express his feelings. I tend to ask him to do things for me and he gets defensive, as if I'm calling him a bad boyfriend, something we are working through. We have officially been dating a year, but we say we've been together for 2 years and I wanted to discuss goals we want for our relationship or our future we want. We both want kids one day and have said how cute our kids will be. Recently I said I want to get married one day and his response was different. He said men usually get screwed over and I asked if he knows what prenups are and where his point of view came from and he blew me off a bit, but he also joked, "Are you proposing to me right now?" I texted him the next morning because I don't want to waste time with someone who isn't ready to commit. To me it's important to know each other's goals, and what if our end goals are too different? One of us will have to sacrifice how we feel and will be unhappy. I don't want either of us to be that unhappy person. We did have a conversation the night before and he blew me off a bit and pretty much said I was starting an argument. And I felt unheard and I wanted him to give me a clear answer. The next morning I started the texts off by saying, "Texts start but aren't important me. You know I was pretty insulted last night when you said I just want like the movies. TBH PPL fall in love and PPL do romantic things. It almost makes me feel like you're telling me that shit doesn't happen and I won't do anything for you him, babe me, we'll just saying. As per usual you don't hear me. I'm sorry. But I really do want a happy and in love relationship. If you're not obsessed with me then what's the point am I not in love with you? Do I not kiss you to touch you every chance I get? It's just not enough me. I just think I love you more than you love me him, don't I try to feed you and spend time with you as much as I can? Do I not think of you constantly and try to spoil you? Do I not randomly get you things because I want to spoil you? I'll talk to you later, I don't want to argue with you me. Hey, I'm not arguing him. Yes you are me. Stop, I'm not, I just want you to hear me him. You're starting one me. I'm not him. I do hear you, but you don't hear me. What you say is not true me. It is true, you're a really great boyfriend. You really are. But why the hell am I wishing for more? Or it to be different? Am I going to regret wasting our time him? Cause you think I don't love you enough me, if it's not something I've had goals about him? What? Me, should I give up my dreams for you? Him, what do you mean what you dream about? At night me, that's not what I mean. I meant goals. These are the important texts me, I just have hopes and dreams. My dream home. My dream life. My dream family and wedding and husband. We have different desires and aspirations for our relationship. I don't want to be someone's girlfriend forever. Like I'm not into it. And if we don't have the same aspirations for a relationship, then why should I give up what I want? It is fine to have different goals. You're really great. And I'm not saying marry me now. But this is like, if I want kids and you don't kind of thing. We won't work out if our goals are major conflicts. It's important to date someone with similar goals. Or else it'll be fights about things we want. We are more likely to break up just dating than to get a divorce. So I'm standing firm on my dreams and desires. I love you, okay I do. You're the best boyfriend I could have ever asked for, and thank you for everything him. You don't make it seem like it me. Thank you for everything. Legit him. The dream life has to happen before the wedding to me. Dream life and home. Make enough money. Wedding doesn't need to be the first thing to me. I'm not saying it's the first thing. I want to, and you don't him. You don't know what I want me. You want kids first, before getting married and a home. You've told me what you want. You said I don't want a contract, you were clear. Him, I do not like that idea. I've always wanted to get married. As I've learned more about marriage and the bindings it hold, I've liked it less because of the legalities. Not because I'm scared of commitment. Me, yeah, well, I'm not interested in being a fake wife. I'm interested in changing my name and all the legal bindings. Him, change your name me, because otherwise that's still a fianc and not a wife. You have a higher chance of breaking up than being divorced. Him, not with kids me, we just have different wants. There are prenups and other things to protect you. Honestly, you shouldn't get married if you're so scared the person you are marrying will screw you over. I'm not interested in being a fake wife. And I will never be. One day I will get married, legal bindings and all. And you knew that. I will not be a fake wife or a baby mama for some dude. At that point I was done having the conversation with him about it. We aren't fighting, but his messages give me a weird feeling. Especially since he wants to get married, but without the legalities and wants kids first. Too long. Didn't read. We had a conversation the night before in person. But I didn't want to take his words out of context and he blew me off. I felt I needed his opinion, so I texted him the next morning. I brought up the topic of my future goals/dreams, such as marriage. I'm not saying I want that right now. But in the future I want to be proposed to and have a wedding. His response. He wants a house and kids first. Then get married, but without the legalities. We aren't fighting, but his message is about having a house and kids first before marriage without legalities. What do? I get it. But shouldn't we part ways if we don't have the same goals? One of us will not get what they want. But the bigger issue is he jokes about getting married. The conversation in person he said, "Are you proposing RN?" And then he bushes me off and changes the subject. And ever since we started dating I've always if thoughts says. As someone who just last week was all about never getting married and realizing this week that the legalities are an advantage with prenups, of course, and has now fully discussed marriage with a partner that was on the same boat about never getting married, you need to re-eval this. Look, I get that men do tend to get screwed over in marriages that don't work out, but honestly, it's usually once kids are involved. That's why prenuptials are set in place while both parties actually care about the other. We are now open to getting married, as if one of us ends up sick in the hospital, we want the other to be allowed in as family and make the decisions. I don't have a relationship with my parents, and I'd hate for them to be the default option and him be powerless. There's also so many benefits we are leaving on the table from my job that he could take advantage of, as he's an independent contractor in his business and we've realized how much it would save him and benefit him. So as a once big time hater of marriage, I can say this guy, if full of poo poo. Specialist Holiday 61 says, marriage just isn't worth it a lot of times. I never got the point of inviting the government into your love life. I know too many dudes who got cheated on, left, Half their income goes to alimony/child support and can barely live. I know too many dudes like that. You would have to kill me first before I get married. Sharpshell23 says. He gave you the biggest heads up of your life, Road. Runner wouldn't give me any competition, that's how fast I would leave this relationship. He has audacity, his goals are not meshing with yours. Whitelinda says. I confess I didn't read your post, but I want to comment that I live in the Netherlands and here that's the normal order of things. Couples usually move in together first, then they buy a house, then they have kids, if they want kids, and then they get married, if they do. Marriage is not seen as a super necessary thing, it's more a formality. Commitment is shown every day by being together. Sam Dublin says. He doesn't want to marry you. Don't have children outside legal protection of marriage. He isn't going to give you a safe and secure life. Sydney T. Cakes says. He sounds exhausting. He doesn't want a partnership, he wants to win. Ultimately he's saying that if either of you is going to frick the other one over, it's going to be him. You will be the loser. If you want to try and progress with this man who sees you as a future adversary, good luck. Make sure your birth control is bulletproof because this guy will use children to control you. Travel and Sheensha says. He wants you to carry and birth children for him without fully committing. Clearly he never plans to. Mercenarian says. Sounds like he's selfish and wants to eat his cake and have it too. He doesn't respect you at all, obviously. Additional _oven _8140 says. I had kids and home before get married, and I have with my husband 17 years together, so don't stress too much about it. Shady _emoji says. Who can blame him? Men get frick ed over in divorces every day. Repulsive _specific 13 says. I agree with him. Men do get screwed over a lot more in marriages than women, so there's nothing wrong with him being cautious. I'd say since you both have wants/needs that are deal breakers for each other, then stop wasting each other's time and ends things while they are on semi-decent terms. It's also important to ask things before you get into a relationship with someone. Spellbound Silk 92 says. Well, you know how he feels now. The general trend I've noticed is that if you have kids before marriage, you generally don't get married. I don't see your boyfriend being one of the exceptions to the rule. If you want to be a wife, don't give boyfriend's wife benefits. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.